What's going on, everyone? This is RFBM, Raising the Financial Bar with Mar. And today I want to talk to you about the SBA disaster assistance funding that's available for businesses that were impacted by Hurricane Ian. So who can use an SBA disaster loan? Well, businesses of all sizes located in declared disaster areas, private nonprofit organizations, homeowners, and renters affected by declared disasters, including civil unrest and natural disasters such as hurricanes, flooding, and wildfires. So yeah, the SBA often has different funds for people that are impacted, but today we're talking about Hurricane Ian and our businesses within Florida. So for those of you that aren't aware, September 24th, President Biden approved an emergency declaration for the state of Florida in advance of Hurricane Ian. So there's resources readily available. So for clarity, here's the section where they'll tell you all the areas eligible for SBA's disaster loans. As you can see here, you might be familiar with some of the counties. Example, my county is Hillsborough. The next section here is the application filing deadlines. So for physical damage, November 28, 2022. And for economic injury, of course, as a result of this, June 29, 2023. So there's a little bit of room. However, I would, as I always state, apply for it earlier rather than later. Do not procrastinate. Funds go down the further on we go. So the first type of available disaster loan is the home disaster loans. So that is specifically to homeowners or renters to repair or replace disaster damaged real estate and personal property, including automobiles. I had a video previously describing extensively the different things. This is more on the personal side. The next type of loan is the business physical disaster loans. So this is loans to businesses to repair or replace disaster damaged property owned by the business, including real estate, inventory, supplies, machinery, and equipment. Businesses of any size are eligible. Once again, businesses of any size are eligible. So private nonprofit organizations such as charities, churches, private universities, etc. are also eligible. And lastly, we have here our old friend, the EIDL, which is the Economic Injury Disaster Loans, which would be working capital loans to help small businesses, small agriculture cooperatives, small businesses engaged in aquaculture, and most private nonprofit organizations of all sizes meet their ordinary and necessary financial obligations that cannot be met as a direct result of the disaster. These loans are intended to assist through the disaster recovery period. Now you can get more detailed information found in the hurricane disaster fact sheet, which breaks down some things sort of like a FAQ. And if you need help with your application, applicants are encouraged to apply online for a disaster loan. Please call them at 800-659-2955 if you have any questions. Now, for those of you that may waste your time in advance, there are some credit requirements. However, they don't seem to have been so specific. Depending on when I release this video, they may have put other updates, but applicants must have a credit history acceptable to SBA. Applicants must show the ability to repay all loans, and collateral is required for physical loss loans over $25,000 and all EIDL loans over $25,000. So the SBA takes real estate as collateral when it is available. SBA will not decline a loan for lack of collateral, but requires you to pledge what is available. Now, let's get a little bit more detailed. Here we have the disaster declaration details, and we're going to check the fact sheet here. Now, rest assured, I'll add the link to this document in my description for this video as well. But let's just get right into the details that matter the most, like the interest rates. So yeah, just jumping into the interest rates, if you see here, it looks like the interest rates depend on whether each applicant has credit available elsewhere. So an applicant does not have credit available elsewhere when SBA determines the applicant does not have sufficient funds or other resources or the ability to borrow from non-government sources to provide for its own disaster recovery. An applicant which SBA determines to have the ability to provide for his or her own recovery is deemed to have credit available elsewhere. Interest rates are fixed for the term of the loan. The interest rates applicable for these disasters are here. So for the home loans, it's a different rate, business loans, and nonprofit organizations. Then of course we have the economic injury loans for businesses and small agriculture cooperatives, along with the interest rate for nonprofit organizations. So in layman's terms, this really is just contingent on the availability that you may have for credit outside of the SBA. And if you do have that availability, your interest rates are going to vary from somebody that doesn't have the same type of resources. All right, so the next thing we're going to talk about is the loan terms. So the law authorizes loan terms up to a maximum of 30 years. Not bad at all, especially depending on your interest rate. So the law restricts businesses with credit available elsewhere, however, to a maximum of a 7-year term. The SBA sets the installment payment amount and corresponding maturity based upon each borrower's ability to repay. Again, contingent on your background and your financial stability, they're going to determine how you'll be able to repay in the program. Which brings us to the loan amount limits. So for business loans, the law limits business loans to $2 million for the repair or replacement of real estate, inventories, machinery, equipment, and all other physical losses. Subject to this, maximum loan amounts cannot exceed the verified uninsured disaster loss. So the next thing that we have here is the economic injury disaster loan, aka the EIDL. So the law limits EIDLs to $2 million for alleviating economic injury caused by the disaster. The actual amount of each loan is limited to the economic injury determined by the SBA, aka their discretion, less business interruption insurance and other recoveries up to the administrative lending limit. Now, EIDL assistance is available only to entities and their owners who cannot provide for their own recovery from non-government sources as determined by the U.S. Small Business Administration. So the next thing we have here is the business loan ceiling, which is the $2 million statutory limit for business loans applies to the combination of physical, economic injury, mitigation, and refinancing, and applies to all disaster loans to a business and its affiliates for each disaster. If a business is a major source of employment, the SBA has the authority to waive the $2 million statutory limit. So again, at their discretion. And then we have lastly, home loans. SBA regulations limit home loans to $200,000 for the repair or replacement of real estate and $40,000 to repair or replace personal property. Subject to these maximums, loan amounts cannot exceed the verified uninsured disaster loss. So yeah, that is the information for all loan amount limits for these categories. Which brings us to the next section here. What restrictions are there on loan eligibility? So it's a bit detailed, so I'll just go ahead and list them and leave it up to you to read it on the back end. Uninsured losses, ineligible property, and non-compliance. So just make sure if you have any questions, you reach out to SBA customer service. We do have a couple of other sections here. So if there's help available for refinancing, yes, there is. SBA, again, it's contingent on them and how they assess when the applicant does not have credit elsewhere, has suffered substantial uncompensated disaster damage, which in their stipulations 40% or more of the value of the property or 50% or more of the value of the structure, and 3 intends to repair the damage. Now, business owners may be eligible for the refinancing of existing mortgages or liens on real estate, machinery, and equipment up to the amount of the loan for the repair or replacement of real estate, machinery, and equipment. And homeowners may be eligible for the refinancing of existing liens or mortgages on homes up to the amount of the loan for real estate repair or replacement. Heck, they even have a section here that says, what if I decide to relocate? So if you decide to relocate, you may use your SBA disaster loan to relocate. The amount of the relocation loan depends on whether you relocate voluntarily or involuntarily. So if you are interested in relocation, an SBA representative can provide you with more details on your specific situation. All right, and the last part here is, are there insurance requirements for loans? Of course. To protect each borrower and the agency, the SBA may require you to obtain and maintain appropriate insurance. By law, borrowers whose damaged or collateral property is located in a special flood hazard area must purchase and maintain flood insurance. SBA requires that flood insurance coverage be the lesser of 1, the total disaster loan, 2, the insurance value of the property, or 3, the maximum insurance available. So again, applicants may apply online, receive additional disaster loan information, and download applications at https://disasterloanassistance.sba.gov. All right, y'all. So I know that was pretty long-winded. I hope that answered some of your questions to see if you qualify. The best thing that you can do is ask questions, but when you're at this screen here, go ahead and review the 3 steps. After that point, you'll go ahead and click apply for assistance. It's going to lead you to a section that has some terms and conditions that you will go ahead and read. At that point, once you agree to their terms and conditions, go ahead and accept it. Next, it brings you to this site here, and this is SBA Connect. It basically uses login.gov to allow you to sign into your account safely and securely. And of course, for those of you that don't already have an account, you would just go ahead and click create an account prior to doing this. So just follow the prompts. I really don't want to go too far into the application and have problems. So just go ahead and go through the verification that they'll have. You'll have to submit your ID, probably confirm your social security and things of that nature. But yeah, I hope this was helpful. Once again, I always appreciate the support. This is RFBM, Raising a Financial Bar with Mar. Stay safe. Peace, love, blessings. Take care.
Our own mind has to be changed. We have to change our mind about ourselves.
Because this world is such a gimme. Everybody back off. You know, everybody's like taught that from school.
I don't come to bow, I come to conquer.